I would like to call this August 22nd, 2022 Sylvania Board of Education meeting to order. Adam, you call the roll.
Julie Hoffman.
Here.
Kim Conklin.
Here.
Tammy Lavalette.
Here.
Greg Feller.
Here.
Jill Johnson.
Here.
And I will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Dr. Motley, we are with you.
Good evening, Mr. Feller, Board of Education, visitors here at our board meeting. My superintendent's report will be brief, as I would like to highlight the first week of school. Last week I had the opportunity to spend some time at Northview in the buses, about 6:15 each morning, watching them roll in. But what was so pleasant is to see our students the first week of school ready to return, new clothes, smiles on their face. It's always a good sign when students get off the bus because they are in a place they want to be. And so that's a good thing. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. Also last week I had the opportunity to see Rent at Northview High School. Ironically, this is one of the first times, I believe, or one of a few times that we actually had a Southview student perform in the Northview play. And I think that says something to one of our new core beliefs about community and having two schools come together and students from two schools come together for the purpose of a performance.
And to be fair, that wasn't really a Northview performance.
It was a community
It was
performance.
Sylvania Community Arts
At Northview.
at Northview.
That's
which was
fair.
Northview
Boosters.
Club, yes.
That's true. Thank you for that clarification. But I think the good thing is Sylvania students collaborating on stage, such talent. I'm so proud of our performing arts program, albeit instrumental or theater. There's just so much. And as we say, excellence through opportunities, and it was just another fine example of just that. And that's all I have for this evening.
Great. Next we have commendations.
Yes, sir. I recommend item 3.1, the recognition of achievement. We have several students who are being highlighted due to their performance on some national exams, such as ACT, and SAT scores, as noted in our agenda. We have Northview High School ACT scores of 26 and higher from a June assessment, and also an SAT score of 600 and above that was also in June. We have Southview scores on the ACT of 26 and above that took place in July. We have ACT scores that also tested 26 and above in June. And also finally SAT scores of 600 and above for students who also tested in June. So congratulations to those students, and I recommend a commendation of their achievement.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
That's great news. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations to all of them. All right, call the roll.
Greg.
Yes.
Jill.
Yes.
Tammy.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Julie.
Yes.
All right, now we are at our first opportunity for public participation for agenda items. And I believe we have one. Bobby, you want to step up front and say your
I
name?
wrote it down so that I don't miss my words.
Say your name and address for the record.
Bobby Bernhardt, 8352 Megan, Sylvania, Ohio, resident for 15 years.
Go ahead.
First, please let me say thank you for this opportunity to address you this evening. I'd like to make a statement regarding the vote of Coach Nick Chippetta's softball contract renewal here at Northview. I sat in this very room this past summer with some of you where he admitted to his egregious behaviors. I've sent many emails to this board and to the school about his specific incidents, so I won't go into that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Nick has shown repeated verbal aggression and physical aggression that you have all already confirmed. He uses repeated foul language, demeaning speech, and multiple physical outbursts involving his players. Again, already confirmed. In my repeated conversations with the school board president, Greg, he has said that he has forwarded my concerns onto all of you. Nick even admitted that he had committed these two physical actions to you. I was told that if Nick's contract is renewed, he will be on strict behavior clauses in that contract. Here are my concerns. He has showed repeated verbal and physical outbursts that are not in keeping with the Sylvania Schools Code of Conduct. Is this behavior what you want to be demonstrated for by our coaches to our athletes that are supposed to exemplify top-notch behavior from the coaches? The kid should not be made to overcome his professional conduct shortcomings. Again, repeatedly. Our youth, especially athletic youth, are vulnerable to poor, aggressive coaching and bullying styles. In many studies, teens have been showed continued anxiety, depression, and even suicide attempts with this repeated behavior. I've been told that if his contract is approved, he will be considered a third strike and out. 2 strikes for the 2 physical outbursts. Do we not count all of his verbal outbursts and demeaning behavior with the students as well? How many strikes would you allow someone to tell you that is appropriate for your child to be forced to endure? Again, conduct not becoming a Sylvania employee. A board paid by my taxes that is meant to be protecting and educating my children, by a coach that is also paid by my taxes. So basically, I'm paying for someone to continually verbally and physically mistreat my child. I know over the past 3 years, multiple families have spoken to Chris Irwin and this board about their concerns about Mr. Chiappetta. Yet here we are still 3 years later complaining and urging you to remove this man from having any access to our children. I've heard the statement this summer that some kids like him and even some parents. I said, and that's great. But no child, even if it's just one, should be forced to endure his physical or verbal and physical outbursts repeatedly. Multiple athletes refused to speak up this past summer because they had seen what had happened to my child when I spoke up in another child's family. They were retaliated against and sat on the bench. 5 seniors didn't come back this year. Sorry. And even one left Sylvania schools and enrolled in private school. The job of this board is to ensure that all students can learn and grow in a safe and healthy environment. That's in classes and on the field. Not just some of the ones, not just the ones that the coach feels appropriate to treat right. So I asked, what is my daughter, an honor roll student, 2-sport athlete, mentor, tutor, guidance aide, and teacher aide, what is she supposed to do if you don't vote to keep her safe? Is Alyssa supposed to give up on her dreams of playing softball in college because she's forced to not play in high school? Because she has a higher standard for herself and will not be allowed to be demeaned and cussed out by her coach on school grounds? Is she supposed to carry a recording device with her at all times so that she can prove that none of his behaviors have changed? Am I supposed to give all this information to the media? What are we supposed to do? This coach and his family aren't even Sylvania members, but me and my family are. Where does this board's loyalty lie? What would happen if the rest of Sylvania schools and the media found out that we condoned this behavior at the top? Our baseball team just won state, and I'm so proud for them, but none of these concerns were brought forth.
Hey, real quick, I forgot to mention before you started, we typically have a 3-minute limit for public comment, so we're at the 3 minutes, so I'll let you finish, but just
Sorry,
try and...
I'm almost done.
Yeah, okay, all
I
right.
apologize, I didn't
Okay,
know.
nope, that's my fault.
I was just saying that the baseball team hasn't had these concerns and they won state. In conclusion, I've been a nurse for 23 years and I've seen some pretty horrific things. I put children in body bags who had committed suicide and looked at their parents' faces, and all they had said is they had been bullied. This will not happen to my family. It is my job to protect her. Everyone signs a code of conduct and it should be upheld. I don't get 3 strikes at my job before somebody steps in and stops hurting someone. I beg you to vote with the students in mind, please. Don't let this be my daughter's burden to carry her last 2 years of high school. Please understand that I've lived here my entire 15 years, and this is only the 2nd time that I've come to you asking for your support. I, Bobby Bernhard, resident of Sylvania, urge you to not renew Nick Chiappetta's contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Adam, we are with you for treasurer's report.
All right, just have a few items this month. Minutes, everyone was in attendance, but July 18th, Greg, you were absent. So do you want to vote and then just Greg abstain from voting on minutes, or?
Yeah, well, normally we would separate them out, so the one he's not present for,
Okay,
we would do them separately. So if ever somebody's absent for one, we approve that.
separate then?
Yeah,
Okay,
separate them out.
I'll note that for next time for sure. So do you just want to vote on that now?
We can just vote, I'll just abstain, we can vote on all of them.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yep.
Tammy?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Greg?
Abstain.
So then 5.2 to 5.5 we'll do in consent. Treasurer's report, really July is kind of a first month of the fiscal year, a lot of ups and downs with revenues and expenses based on timing of the fiscal year and when property tax advances come in. So it's a hard month to kind of look at, comparing kind of where we are. But next month we'll have final appropriations that I'll ask you to vote on. So heavy into the budget and seeing where we are. It'll be like the start of my forecast as well. So just, as I'm 3 weeks in, I'm just doing a lot of learning and seeing how we do things, meeting a lot of people, been out in a few buildings, helping with some time clock issues that we have with our new system, but everything's been great. Just kind of information overload, but everything is great, and meeting a lot of great people at Sylvania, so it's been great in that regard. So 5.3 is availability of funds, and then 5.4 is our Medicaid school program service agreement. That's our annual agreement with HPC. We use them for some consulting services to help us get Medicaid reimbursements. That brings in $300,000 to $500,000 for us in reimbursements. So that's a great program to have, and they do a lot of good things with us. And our staff, they work really hard and go above and beyond to provide that work so that we can get reimbursement. So I'd like big shout out to our special ed staff doing that. And then the advances, that's just an advance based on timing. We had to advance some money in June, or Jeff did in June, and then we received that check. So we need to advance that money back to the general fund now. So
I'll move approval on consent agenda basis items 5.2 through 5.5.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, call the roll.
Julie,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jill.
Yes.
All right, Dr. Miley, we're back with you.
Thank you, Mr. Feller. I recommend item 6.1, which is an agreement, a 10-year agreement to enter into a partnership with Sylvania Area Joint Recreation District, known as SAGEARD. This is a 10-year agreement with this entity.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Any discussion? And just so everybody knows, this is very similar, if not exact, to the agreement we've had for the past
25
25 or
years
so
plus.
years.
Yes,
um,
it is identical.
SAGEARD takes care of our facilities, baseball diamonds, athletic facilities, and they use them for their program. So just
And
want to
the
make sure.
purpose to bring it on the agenda at this time is because the last agreement did expire, so we're just
Correct.
renewing that agreement and partnership.
Correct. All right, Adam, call the roll.
Julie,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jill.
Yes.
Thank you. I recommend item 6.2. It is an agreement with Resolute Interpreting for on-site and remote interpreting and translation services.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, call the roll.
Julie,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jill.
Yes.
Thank you. I recommend item 6.3, which is a memorandum of understanding with the Sylvania Education Association for a Central Trail 4th grade substitute teacher.
I'll move approval. I'll second.
Discussion? All right, call the roll.
Julie,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jill.
Yes.
Thank you. I recommend item 6.4, which is an MOU combining Whiteford art, music, and PE classes. Again, it is a memorandum of understanding with the Sylvania Education Association.
I'll move approval.
I'll second. Any discussion? All right, call the roll.
Julie,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jill.
Yes.
Thank you. I recommend for approval item 6.5, which is school bus stops and routes in accordance to Ohio Revised Code and our board policy 8600. I recommend approval of the 2022-2023 school year bus stops and bus routes.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question. I don't know who to ask, so we check to make sure none of our stops are
Yes.
at any sex offender office.
Yes, and actually I followed up with
Every year.
Jim every year, and I First year, yes. And as those stops change or we make adjustments, we also run those changes by to make sure we are not too close to the individuals that we don't want to be close to. So
Okay.
pedophiles and sex offenders.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Thank you. I recommend item 6.6 for approval. We have several policies as noted in the item for board approval for second reading.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Dabrowski, we're with you.
All right, thank you. I am recommending approval of items 7.1 through 7.4 on a consent agenda basis. 7.1 are licensed new teachers. 7.2 are licensed substitute teachers. 7.3 is some licensed unpaid leave. And 7.4 is licensed extra duty.
I'll move approval on a consent agenda basis, items 7.1 through 7.4.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm also recommending approval of items 8.1 through 8.5 on a consent agenda basis. 8.1 are classified new hires. There's two groupings there. There is the new district classified subs and then also new hires, and those individuals will are contracted and will get a one-year contract. 8.2 are classified personnel changes. 8.3 is a classified resignation. 8.4 is a classified unpaid leave of absence. 8.5 is just a correction from the August 8th board meeting.
I'll move approval on a consent agenda basis, items 8.1 through 8.5.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm also recommending approval of items 9.1 through 9.3 on a consent agenda basis. 9.1 are supplemental positions for the 22-23 school year. 9.2 are for athletic volunteers for the 22-23 school year. And 9.3 are some supplemental corrections as well as one resignation.
I'll move approval on a consent agenda basis, items 9.1 through 9.3.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I just wanted to kind of touch on, Bobby's comments. I appreciate you coming and making your comments. I know there have been a lot of discussions about this, a lot of meetings, talking to different people. I know Mr. Zeroff has spent a lot of time looking into it very carefully and researching it. I get the concerns. I understand. I'm confident that we won't have issues going forward. There's definitely a plan in place. So I understand where you're coming from and appreciate your comments. I just wanted to, state that I'm comfortable that there's enough oversight in place where we shouldn't have any issues going forward. Anything else? Adam, call the roll.
Julie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Jill?
Yes.
All right, now we have board reports. Okay,
I don't have anything.
Julie?
I just have on the foundation, All Schools Mixer, which is for adults only, is this Saturday. You can get tickets, I think, at the door or else on the website. So, that's it.
I don't have anything.
I have nothing.
Tammy?
No. Thank you.
All right, now we have the second opportunity for public participation for non-agenda items.
Thank you.
Danielle, not sure how to say your last name.
Oh, Linda.
So state your name for the record, or state your name and address for the record, and then like say we do have a 3-minute, so try and keep your comments to.
My name is Daniela Quindell.
I do live in Toledo, 2134 Copley Drive, Toledo, Ohio. I work for the transportation department. I am a bus driver. And what I'm frustrated about is I'm leaving Central Trail in the afternoon with 12 students on my bus. And there's buses overloaded. I'm contracted for 4:30, and I'm getting back to the bus garage at 4 o'clock, and my union representative told me, sit there and watch the time clock. Now that's 2.5 hours that the taxpayer's paying me to sit there to watch the time clock. There's other bus drivers that are sitting there for an hour watching the time clock. I know that the routes are a little different this year, but with this cluster, I thought it was supposed to be subs or somebody with lower seniority coming in and doing this second route or whatever. We haven't even been really explained what this cluster is, and Jim hasn't explained it to us. So I just want to make sure that I get my time. And my kids were so confused last week. I was still bringing home kids that I normally get, that I pick up in the morning, but they're just not on my route in the afternoon. And I have parents calling, and the transportation department hasn't called them back. That's all. Have a good day. Thank you for letting me
Thank you.
speak.
Thank you
Yes,
for
thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you.
All right, now I will move that we go into executive session for the, what's that? Oh, for the purposes of compensation and employment of a public official.
Second?
Any discussion? Call roll?
Julie,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes,
Jill.
Yes.
and there will be no action taken after executive.